We actually are live right now.
Nice.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Quest Podcast, back again for, I think it's episode 29. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And I know I missed the episode. I missed you guys. I'm happy to be back. First,
we missed you too. We're nothing without you, babes.
Happy to have you.
Yeah. All right. Well, as usual, what we're going to do is just introduce the panel. First, we have Remix.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am ready to dive on into these topics tonight. Should be a good show. Lots going on. And can't wait to get on into things.
True. Artemis?
The silent ghost. He is.
Artemis?
Oh, hey, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here tonight. Glad to have Baines back. It's going to be a fun show. We got a lot of topics to get into, so let's get started.
Yep, let's do that. First, you know how we start every show off with what we've been playing, and then, you know, I added a little bit, and you can tell us if you had any memorable moments while gaming this week. So, go ahead, Artemis.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing. Let's see here. What did I play? I played some Walking Dead, Telltale series. Finished that up. Haven't bought the third season yet. Been kind of hesitant on buying it because it always seems to come free with gold when the next season comes out. So I might wait until then to get it.
Mm-hmm.
What else have I been playing? Oh, you know what? I've been playing a little game called Destiny 2. Been playing that little beta that they had out there. Let me tell you right now, it's a lot of fun. It's, you know, a blast to play, but it's short, and, you know, there's not much. It makes sense. Yeah, there's not much content there, but it definitely gives you a feel of like, hey, this is a beta. Try it out. Tell us what you think, basically. And I have to say right now, so far what I've played, I'm liking it, and I'm hoping that when they said that there's going to be more story, that they stay true to that and make that into something really great. But of course, you know, it's Bungie, it's Activision, we don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they actually came out and said they want you to come away from Destiny 2 thinking that there's too much story. So
right, exactly. They want us to complain about too much story, and I don't think anybody's ever going to do that if there's enough story there that, you know, can really generate some, you know, more people playing it for a longer time. But I also played Tales from the Borderlands, and let me tell you, that experience alone is probably my best experience playing a Telltale game or playing a game in general that I've had in a long time.
It's pretty big for a Telltale game.
Yeah, it is. It's man, the game is like, it's a lot of fun. It's funny, dude. It's hilarious. Like,
you got that Borderlands humor.
One of the memorable moments is when he's trying to take out this bandit, and he sees the girl. She does it. And she does it perfect. And she's good at it, you know. And he tries to do it, and you're him. You're playing as him, and he can't do it. He's just wrapping his legs around him and like trying to choke him. And you're sitting there for a while trying to choke him and shit. It's hilarious. It's the funniest thing you ever see. You know, it's kind of one of those things you have to play in order to really have that experience. But it is a lot of fun. I recommend picking up Tales from the Borderlands. Play that game. It's hilarious. And I think a lot of people
tried to play that one time. I fell asleep on that game.
Really?
Well, you got to get past that first, like, I think first, you know, snippet of it. Yeah. The second episode is hilarious. I haven't gotten to the third episode yet, but once I do, I'll let you guys know what I think.
Too. But
oh, so you played it?
I've watched it like a few different people play it through their different
Okay.
decisions and stuff. But
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good game.
Nice.
That's it. That's all I've been
All
playing.
right. Remix.
yeah, man, I've been playing just some various kind of like couch co-op games with my sister, her boyfriend, and my dad here and there. So been playing like some Rayman Legends, some speedrunners. Tried out that run bow that we got with Games with Gold. It's kind of shitty. There's one mode, arena mode, that's kind of fun. Playing some Diablo 3, Rocket League, and we played some Worms Battlegrounds. So just kind of some random couch co-op stuff. It's been fun. Kind of missed the old couch co-op days, so I've been enjoying myself and having some laughs. So
Okay. Cool. Me myself, I'll just pick up where I left off before I was out. I finished Until Dawn. Went on vacation, didn't really play much. I came home and I played Journey. That was a pretty decent experience. I played a little bit of Tokyo 42. It bored me. I played about an hour or so, and I just couldn't
not for
really
you.
get into it. Yeah, I may go back and finish it, but it didn't hold my attention, man. I don't know what it was. It takes a lot for an 8-bit game. It's kind of like an 8-bit game, and but the way it's set up is it does look kind of cool with the different buildings and things where they made it up. But it's just, I don't know. It just didn't draw me in. Like I said, it would take a lot for an 8-bit game to draw me in, and it didn't do it. So I started Victor Vran, which is a pretty decent game. I like it so far. And then I started playing Knack, and then Knack stuck me. So now I'm stuck on Knack. I'm really enjoying that one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's setting me up pretty good for the sequel. I wasn't really interested in the sequel because I had not played the first one. Got it on sale, and it's wound up. It's a really decent game. It's worth a playthrough. And I'm really looking forward to the second one now. So yeah, and that too. If you've been thinking about it, you need to check it out. Well, anything else from you guys? I'm trying to think of a memorable moment for me this week. Probably the boredom with Tokyo 42.
Like my
Yeah.
I think would just be like like having laughs with the family, and like my dad, he cannot play Worms at all, so just seeing him like fuck up trying to like do stuff is pretty funny. And with the Jackbox Party pack, we played some of that Trivia Murder Party, so that was funny too.
Okay. Cool. All right, well, let's move on. First subject of the night is Nintendo CrossPlay. The Rocket League devs came out and stated that Nintendo was really on board quickly with CrossPlay. They stated that they went to them. They told them one of the things that we want if we're going to bring Rocket League to your system is we want it to be able to crossplay, and Nintendo was right on board. Really, no hesitation. It's kind of odd for Nintendo to be like that, seeing as how they're so protective of their gaming audience, thinking because most of them are I guess they think most of them are kids. Yeah. So with Nintendo being so protective, it's kind of crazy that Nintendo jumped right on the ball with this.
I thought at first you're kind of saying like protective of like their IPs, but yeah, I mean, I think it just makes sense. Not only I think Rocket League is a pretty good game for the Switch, but also there's probably not going to be that many people actually playing Rocket League on the Switch, and so you just there's no borders between it and Xbox and PC now, and so you have a larger user base. That's what I'm trying to get at. So while if it was just Switch players playing with Switch players, I don't think there'd be enough people to really generate matches on a consistent basis.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as far as the Switch releases haven't been that prevalent, I would think that they would jump at the chance to play Rocket League. I would think that most of the people that have a Switch will probably pick up Rocket League.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're just by having a people might pick it up on the Switch, and I know the Switch is doing well, but still, you just have a larger user base with having crossplay, and so I think that's one reason, and I think it just gives them good press, especially with Sony not doing crossplay.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good thing because a lot of people who have the Switch have other consoles as well, so they're gonna be like, oh shoot, so I can take Rocket League on the go and play with my friends who are playing on Xbox. Of course, you probably won't be able to chat with them, but at least you'll be able to play with them and kind of, have that feeling of you being with your friends on Xbox while you're on the go, while you're, on a plane somewhere or you're traveling to, who knows where. I think that's kind of what they're kind of focused on is to kind of make it so that people who are on the go, they can play with people who are playing it on Xbox or on mobile or whatever. And I don't know if Sony is allowing the crossplay or not. I don't think they are, right? Somewhere on there I heard that they're not allowing it, so it kind of sucks. I mean, I wish they would, but who time will tell. I mean, if it kicks off, I mean, they might actually do it, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you would think that, it's kind of like as the dominoes fall, the next one falls. As everybody gets on board with this, Sony will eventually not want to be on the outs. You would hope that's how it works, and then they would join in.
And Optimus also kind of alluded to it, just like accidentally, but your whole question with protecting their kid audience is, you probably can't actually talk to people unless it's through a third party device on like the Xbox or something, while you're playing on the Switch. So maybe the whole chat issue is not really an issue because they're only going to be able to interact with other Switch players anyways. I mean, I know there's a chat system in the game, but I mean,
yeah, I really don't know how that would work, but I guess we'll just have to see.
But like, that's just, to your question about protecting their like kid audience, since Nintendo, why would Nintendo do crossplay? Kind of there,
Right.
So I don't know if that would actually really be an issue.
Right. Okay. Well, any other thoughts about Nintendo crossplay?
Nope.
All right, we're moving on. Wolf Among Us 2 there was a tweet that went out from, I guess, the actor that voiced the main character in Wolf Among Us, which made people think that Wolf Among Us 2 is coming. Then there was an article that said
it is coming. It's coming in 2018.
Well, I was leading up to that, Optimus. Thank you.
Oh. You interrupted the man.
I'm telling you, there was an article that came up right after that, and I think one of the devs or somebody came out and said it's not coming, and then it leaked that it actually is coming amongst, I think Batman is coming, and also The Walking Dead, the last season of Walking Dead is coming. So what do you guys think about Wolf Among Us 2? Have you guys played it?
I haven't personally played it, but I watched it again. That one was really good. I think it's probably the best Telltale game. I mean, I think Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead are what made Telltale popular. And Borderlands kind of was a hit, and that did well, but the other ones, not that they did bad, I just don't think they've generated as much hype as those other three. So I think it only makes sense to bring a second season of The Wolf Among Us, and I think it's a really cool and interesting kind of storyline. So I'm excited.
This is probably my favorite. It is. It's my favorite Telltale game that has come out.
I hear a lot of people talk about that one. Is it that much better than all the newer Telltale games?
I don't know if it's better. I would have to say, like, it was the first one to kind of integrate more of an action-oriented storyline, and this one, it kind of leaves you, wanting more when you're playing it. like, I mean, I ran through that game quick, and I absolutely enjoyed it so much. So when they were teasing about it, I was like, they always do this, you know, they're always teasing about stuff, and I'm like, you know what, it's probably not going to come because they're, you know, teasing it or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, what, the other day, I think yesterday, maybe the day before, they came out with like a little like sneak peek, like, you know, behind the scenes kind of trailer where they were talking about, you know, them making the game and, you know, people, you know, really wanting another Wolf Among Us, you know, but a lot of people have been like touting about this game for a long time now. And then, you know, of course, they announced the Batman, and they also announced The Walking Dead, the final season, which is kind of interesting because it's like, what are they gonna do when Walking Dead is gone? You know, how are they gonna continue to thrive? And I think this is the reason why they're bringing back The Wolf Among Us, is because of the fact that it was at the height of their, you know, gaming developing careers that they became more popular in the mainstream realm of video games, and people started taking to them. So I think this is kind of like their plan to kind of push out another season of Wolf Among Us, so that, you know, it kind of holds, you know, so we can have more seasons of it. And then, you know, once that's done, probably they'll, you know, more go towards Batman, things like that. But I think they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy right now. It's okay, not the best one, but, you know, it's still Telltale and it's still fun.
Yeah, like I said, like, you bring up a good point of The Walking Dead will end soon. And like I said, you know, Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead, the first seasons of those two games are what put really Telltale on the map, and their games on the map. And so yeah, I think you bring up a good point there with them continuing Wolf Among Us, because they probably went more heavy on The Walking Dead just because The Walking Dead is a bigger name. You know, because it has its own TV series and everything, even though they don't follow the same storylines. But yeah, I mean, I think people wanted this game for a while, so I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think as far as The Walking Dead, it was kind of getting long in the tooth. That seems like what the consensus is in the community. Like, people are ready to move on, and then they have other assets such as Tales of the Borderlands. They have Batman. They have Guardians of the Galaxy. And I know Batman, a lot of people thought Batman was pretty good from what I've heard. And then a lot of people enjoyed Tales of Borderlands. So it seems like those two in and of themselves have legs. Both Among Us too. So I mean, they're pretty set as far as their gaming catalog. So I mean, they can really go ahead and it's about time to end The Walking Dead. So,
yeah, I don't know if they could do a second season of the same like characters in the Borderlands one. I can't remember the ending exactly, but you know, that's like a universe that they could really focus on any random characters in, you know, because they, like, the characters they brought in were two new characters that we didn't know before, you know.
Yeah, I think that I did read an article where they said that their next series is not going to come until after, or they alluded to the fact that Gearbox is going to be the next one with any type of Borderlands game. So I guess they won't have another one until after that Borderlands 3 comes out, you know.
Yeah, and I think we'll see something on Borderlands thing at like Gamescom or PAX. That's normally where it is. I can't remember which event, but like Gamescom or PAX is one of them. So
yeah, it's usually Gamescom that they usually, you know, show those you know, the Telltale games off and stuff.
Well, let's talk about a third Borderlands game.
Oh, third Borderlands. Yeah, it'll probably be Gamescom or something like that. But yeah, to touch on a little bit of the, you know, the Telltale game series as a whole, I think, you know, worst one in the whole entire, you know, their whole entire backlog of games is the fact that is Game of Thrones, and that's really not saying much, because I mean it's still a good game. It's just, it's not the best one, or not, like, it's kind of on the lower end of the totem pole, and it wasn't very popular with a lot of people, because I think a lot of people were more into the show, and they're like, oh my gosh, the show's great, but this is kind of like a prequel to the show, and people are like, I don't understand, kind of thing, and it wasn't with the Starks, and it wasn't with anybody from the actual show. There was people from the show in it, there was like characters from the show in it, but there wasn't anybody that was actually from the show that you played as the character and stuff.
Yeah, and I think Game of Thrones is also just so dynamic and covers so many different characters already that for like a Telltale game to do that, it's hard to be also like different and not the same,
right?
And still be good as well for that series. But
Right.
Honestly, I think the Walking Dead Telltale series is better than the show. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that, but I think, because I mean, Rick is kind of a bitch, like he just is. And I stopped watching it because of the fact that they killed off so many people that I actually liked and who were badass. And it was just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Well, any more thoughts about that?
Nah.
Far Cry 5. There's an article that is talking about the length of the game. In the article, it also talked about some of the weapons. Well, not specifically weapons, but it was telling you you're going to have different weapons, customization of character. But anyway, it was saying the length was going to be about 20 to 30 hours, which the article stated that was typical for a Far Cry game. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, it's typical for them. It's a good thing. They're coming back. Hopefully, the game's really good. I mean, from what we've seen at E3 and the trailer that we got early before E3, it was like, okay, I'm invested. I want to play this. I want to see where this is going to go. It seems like it's going to have an interesting story. I'm just hoping that it's not like Primal and it's not like Far Cry 4, where it was basically Far Cry 3 all over again.
Right.
So, yeah, for sure. I'm in the same boat. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long the average game is, but that sounded about right. And, I think that time is well worth your while. You'll be doing some skinning of animals, some taking over of bases, and some killing of people. So it'll all be good fun. And, yeah, I can't wait for the game, man. Too bad it's got to wait till 2018, until February. I just want it now,
Yeah, it did mention that there are going to be a lot of aspects coming back from the other Far Cry. So I'm pretty sure you'll see the skinning of some type of animal or something like that.
Yeah, I just think that if they change enough of it, people will actually want to come back and play some of these Far Cry games, because I mean, Primal was just terrible, and 4 wasn't bad. It was exactly like 3.
Yeah, they can
in a different location.
There's really no problem with keeping the gameplay mechanics the same.
Yeah,
there was really nothing wrong with them. It's the story that that you want to really immerse you into the game. So
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. They need to have a good story. People love the gameplay, just so long as it's not too repetitive. Because people do get tired of taking over this base and opening up this territory. And I think that's something that also hindered like Assassin's Creed. They're very similar in that aspect. So, hopefully that gets changed up a bit as well. And it doesn't like drag out and get boring for that reason,
Right. All right. Well, anything else about Far Cry 5?
Nah.
All right, moving on. Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2 will get Xbox One X enhancements. I think it's going to be 4K with HDR. It didn't state whether this was going to be dynamic or native, but I guess that really doesn't matter. But what do you guys think about that? Are you guys looking forward to the games, or is that going to? I mean, is that getting your hype that much more, or does it not really matter? I mean,
Well, I think this is more of an incentive for us to, kind of get
Right.
an X to see the more powerful and graphical things that are going on in the games. Um, but I think for me, it's more about what the game's going to play like and how the games are going to, really, hold my interest. I know Wolfenstein will hold my interest for a while. I'm just not too sure on the Evil Within because I don't think I ever finished it actually. Um, it's just one of those games that I couldn't get past the camera angle. Uh, you know, it just it bothered the crap out of me. Uh, you know, it's we'll see. It's so hard to say because uh, I I wasn't really like surprised at the fact that they were doing this because I mean Bethesda has had a great relationship with Microsoft for so long,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, another developer saying, hey, we're gonna make another enhancement for the X, and it's just giving us more incentive to be like, hey, let's go buy an X instead of an S or whatever. Um, at least us hardcore gamers. I know a lot of the less hardcore gamers will probably still buy an S or something like that. They're probably a lot of people are saying that people are waiting for the X to come out, but I think a lot of people are waiting for the S to go down in price. Actually, I think that's the reason why um, the S hasn't been selling as much as it had been in the past. Um, and I think the reason is because people are gearing up for this fall of games, and they're going to go out and they're going to buy an S because it'll be cheaper.
Yeah, I kind of share similar thoughts with Optimus, and I think Bethesda is a company that could definitely push the X to its limits. Personally, I'm not going to be playing them on the X because I won't pick one up right away. And honestly, for me, it's about the story and the gameplay and all that good stuff. And I'm really excited for Wolfenstein for that reason because I think that's going to be cool, although a little different because of its kind of funniness that it kind of portrayed in the trailer. And Evil Within 2, I'm probably going to pass on because me, I'm not really a scary game guy. But it's always good to see people are trying to get the most power of what they're given, which is nice. That's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, I think it's just a nice additive for people that are buying the X. Me, I'm more interested, in the stories behind the game because I played both of them and completed both of them. So I'm really looking forward to the Evil Within, how that story's going to change. Um, and then Wolfenstein 2, that play, I mean, the gameplay was just so buttery smooth, and that 60 frames per second, you could really tell it in that game. It's one of the games that I mean, it really makes it pop in my
Mhm.
opinion.
That's the thing. Like,
Um,
sorry, Baines, but cutting
Go
here
ahead.
real quick is like they said, like 4K and stuff. But for Wolfenstein, uh, yeah, you want that 60 frames, for the good gunplay and everything. So hopefully,
Right.
that's in there too, because I don't think they mentioned anything about that.
Yeah, they did. They did. And
Oh,
in
did
fact,
they?
the article was it was saying that it expects that Evil Within to stay at 30 frames per second and the Wolfenstein 2 to stay at 60 frames per second because
All right.
the Evil Within one was 30 and Wolfenstein one was 60. But I
Yeah.
mean, to me, I mean, it's more about the story. Like Wolfenstein had a really, really great story in my opinion, and then the Evil Within also to me it was really good. So I'm just looking forward to how they expand both of those story arcs more. So I mean the graphics and the gameplay is just going to be an additive, some added bonus for being an Xbox One X owner. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah. But
That's that,
to
that
me,
that's
go ahead, Adam.
that's perfect for us, especially
Hmm.
you and I, we know that we're gonna get one, we're gonna pick one up day one
Right,
because we have to have the new hotness.
right.
um it's kind of something that I've always kind of been like, and I'm sure you've probably been the same way. um but I think this this enhancement is a good thing, because it shows that, developers, hey, we're going to do an enhancement for the Xbox One X. Why don't you guys do it too?
Yeah, and a lot of people take as justifying their purchase by bashing, another console. I take by justifying my purchase by the way that devs, enhance games for my console. That justifies my purchase, and this is a justification of my purchase of the X. That more devs are getting behind these games and enhancing them for the system, So, anything else about those titles?
No.
Yeah, definitely gonna be fun to get into some Evil Within 2 though. You guys are missing out on that.
No, I'll probably pick it up and play it. I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna pick it up and play it. It's not probably something that I'm gonna dive too much into.
You need to struggle through the first one, man. Just struggle through it.
Just struggle through it.
You'll appreciate it. If you can get past the first few hours, you'll appreciate that.
I have gotten past the first few hours, man. I just can't get.
No, I'm talking about like now that it's updated, you get the full frame. Oh. It's not like borders anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is updated now, huh? So
yeah,
maybe I'll go back and
try it again.
Check it out.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah, remix. I wasn't gonna say you because you haven't even played Resident Evil 7 yet, so I know how you are about these scary games.
Dude, he's not even gonna pick up Evil Within. I'm gonna probably have to buy it physical because this guy's not even gonna play it. So,
no, maybe I'll check it out. I actually have the first Evil Within. I just haven't played it. But
All right, well, we're moving on. During the recent Xbox One update, they added a creators collection. I guess it's a place where you can go in and create games, and makes that process easier. They actually have a few games on there now. Actually, one is called Space Cat, so shout out to Space Cat.
Yeah, they've only got like 6 games up there, and I think it's only for insider program people. But
right.
It's cool that this is happening. We've talked about it a little bit before. People try to make their own games, make their own art, and put it out there. So I'm excited to see what kinds of games get put in there and expand and all that good stuff.
Right. So does it essentially turn your Xbox into some type of dev kit almost?
I don't know. I haven't used it.
Think of it that way.
I have to say I'm not. I don't care about this.
He's an indie hater. Yo, Bot.
I don't hate
earlier.
indies.
Yo, Bot, he said, "Shut up before I buy you an indie, Optimus."
I know. I told him he better
buy him an indie, Bot.
No, you buy enough indies. I'm all like, get this trash off my freaking console, dude. Like, you buy them, and I'm all like, oh my god, now I gotta uninstall it.
The funny thing is, I barely even buy any indies. The one that you should actually try, I haven't played it yet, but I picked up during the sale, is Bastion. I hear that's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get some gems, but every now and then you'll get a Tokyo 42.
Now, is that a PlayStation exclusive, though?
Like Ran loved that game,
No.
So.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not exclusive.
Oh, okay. For me, and here's the thing: this is great for people who want to, create their own games and stuff like that. I get it. It'll be awesome for them. For people like me who love their AAAs, who can't get enough of their AAAs, they're probably not going to even touch those games. A lot of people like Ran. I know you guys love indies. You guys will probably test this out. Play some of these games because, they're, indies and they're probably cheap. I think they even had something like this similar to this on the Xbox 360, didn't they? Where it was kind of like people created their own games and then they put it on the 360. But I think this one's more like a dev kit kind of thing, where they kind of turn their Xbox One into a dev kit, kind of, right? Something like that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it, but I do believe.
Okay. So, I mean, it's good. It's good for the industry. It shows that, Xbox does care about, its consumer a little bit here. I mean, it's not, it's still a corporation, guys. It's still, a multi-billion-dollar company. They're doing whatever they can, still to please us, but keep on the back burner that this may go away if it doesn't take off or whatever.
I think it's also kind of a way for them to pluck talent as well.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but I mean, speaking of the old like indies on the 360, I didn't buy too many, but I miss those fucking. Sometimes they were free, sometimes they're like just $5, little crappy indie games just to mess around and like little crappy shooters and stuff. Those were good, man. Those were good times. But they should bring those back.
Come back. Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. August games with gold. I guess they were announced.
Trash.
We have Warrior, Ultimate Warrior 3, Warrior Orochi.
Let me find my thing. Warrior Orochi Ultimate 3.
Yeah. Spelunky.
Trash.
And Beyond Good and Evil, which I think they've given that away before, haven't they?
I think they've given all these games away. I think this is an old article, actually, honestly. I'm not too sure on it.
Oh, maybe it's 2016's. It could be 2016's. Maybe we fucked up.
Yeah, it might be. I think it is, dude. Because I think I actually have that WWE 2016 game.
Sorry, guys.
What's going on?
Yo, this is where we just, smooth on to the next topic,
Nah, but what I'm saying, I was looking at the list like,
no, we're gonna throw you under the bus, dude.
I think they've given every one of these games away before. Like, what's going on with this? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I wouldn't mind having Beyond Good and Evil because I don't have it. And obviously the second one is gonna come out at some point in the future. So,
well, I would think that they would probably do it again. I would think that they would probably do Beyond Good and Evil again when the second one does come close to its launch or whatever.
Well,
yeah. It's they usually start putting that information out about this time anyway, so it's not interesting. We move on though. This is a game we talked about before, but we really didn't have a lot of information on it. We got more information on it now. The last day of June. It's the game about what it is about is this. Your character, his name is Carl. Him and his wife, they wind up getting in an accident, and she dies. He winds up in a wheelchair because of the accident. And then I guess he has a room with paintings or whatnot, and they're paintings of her. And through those paintings, he can you're kind of going to relive what happened, and you have an opportunity through the eyes of different characters to change what actually happened. Yeah. And the way they set it up in the article, I became really interested in the game. Like, it's kind of cool because there's not going to be any dialogue, so it's going to be interesting how they're going to set all that up. And they're going to be it's going to be another one of those games where the characters don't have any faces too. So it's really it seems like it has a lot of emotion in the game. It seems like it's going to be more of a walking type simulator type game, but still it's going to be interesting because each decision you make, and like I said, they're going to give you the opportunity to play from different characters. So it didn't specifically say this in the article, but I was thinking, well, maybe what if you play as the child that ran out in the road and caused the accident? Maybe you play as him and make a decision not to run out of the road, and she winds up living, something like that. But it seems like the game's going to take some pretty decent angles. It's going to have some pretty decent dynamics to keep you interested. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but also like, there might be a way to save her. I don't know. That's something we'll find out. But like, if you did, I think like because we talked about this game before, but the changing of the like playing as all the characters, that's real interesting. Because I mean, if you do move out of the way as the boy, I mean, something down the road, 5 blocks away, might make you crash your car and your wife die anyway. So it might just kind of. I think it's supposed to be, an emotional and kind of traumatic experience in a game, which sounds really interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. I'll probably need to watch some gameplay or something. Optimus, I don't know about you. You're probably like indie trash, but
honestly,
it sounds interesting and emotional.
This is probably one of those indies that I'm actually going to play because it kind of reminds me a little bit of, slightly a little bit of Life is Strange, in the fact of being able to travel through time, traveling back in time to kind of figure out what's going on and why. I kind of like that kind of stuff, traveling back to kind of figure out, what you could do to save the person that you love or to, save somebody that you're really close to. And if we all had a power, I'm pretty sure a lot of us would want to do that if we had a loved one who passed away or something like that. So I think that this game is going to be, it's definitely going to be an emotional roller coaster, that's for sure. It'll probably make some people tear up, I'm sure. Probably me, because I lost a friend to a car accident when I was 19. So that'll probably, kind of hit home for me big time. So it'll I definitely want to play it, though. It's probably one of those indies that I'm going to have to bite the bullet on and get it.
Yeah, definitely. The way that the picture that the article painted to me, I was on. By the time I finished it, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm on the board. I'm buying this game as soon as it drops. I'm buying it." And I think that's what they're trying to do: pull on your emotional heartstrings, and especially people like you, Artemis, who are close to a situation like this. Maybe not the same situation, but you can identify somewhat. It'll really be good for somebody like you, to play through it. So.
Right, exactly, and I think it would be something that I think a lot of other people will resonate to as well.
Right. All right.
Sure.
Last day of June. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that one. All right. Any other thoughts on that game?
No. Do you know what day that actually comes out? It's in August, right? I can't remember.
I want to say August, but I'm thinking if I'm getting this one or the next one we're about to talk about mixed up, because I think that one comes out in August.
Yeah, next one is definitely August, but
yeah. All right. Next up is Observer. This is from I want to say the creators of the Layers of Fear. Yeah, and which I didn't notice about Layer of Fear. I thought it was more like a horror game, but they describe it as more like a cerebral horror type game. Like, not really that the horror is jumping out to you, or it's really just the thought process of deep dark areas and what's actually going on while you're playing. Stuff like that. And this is set in the cyberpunk era, like 2084, and it's supposed to be some type of cop. He gets some message from, I guess, his son, and then he winds up having to go through different scenarios. And what he can do is he can jack into other people's brains, and he has to jack into their brain to figure out, put different pieces of a puzzle together from this communique from his son. It sounds interesting. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, I mean, the world seemed, very dark and interesting. Like you got these people hooked up to machines, and you're like jamming like a cord that you have into them, and living through like their nightmares and stuff, which sounds really interesting. And you perceive their nightmares as reality. So I think the concept of the game is really cool. If you've ever played Layers of Fear, which I haven't, it's supposed to have similar pacing to that game. So if you enjoy that, the pacing of that game, you might enjoy the pacing of this one. But yeah, definitely a really cool concept, and I'm interested to see what they come up with.
Yeah. I think this one is the one that drops August 15th. I'm definitely going to be watching out for it.
Yeah, August 15th.
And they had a trailer too, and the trailer definitely got me interested. What did you think, Artemis?
For me, I like the setting. The concept of the game seems very cool. Jacking into people's minds, doing things like that. Going into their nightmares and kind of reliving those moments. I'm not gonna pick it up though, because there's a couple other games that are coming out in August that I want to play, and I don't think I'll have time to really get into something like this, unless the games that I finish before Destiny 2 comes out or whatever. If I finish them before that, maybe I will pick it up. I don't know. I can't really see myself doing that because Life is Strange comes out at the end of the month, and then it's Uncharted, and then there's Hellblade, and I don't know if I don't even know if I'm going to get Hellblade yet. I'm like, kind of on the fence.
I mean, dude, we're coming up on August, and August is when we start to see the games drizzle back in after August. So I'm excited. Not too many big games in August, I don't think, but some slightly smaller ones, and we're getting there, man. And I'm excited to see what we get coming up. Well, we kind of know what we're getting, but to play all these big games, and we'll have a lot of games to talk about here. So
yeah, it seems like the floodgates are open in August, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it depends on what you like, but there's a lot of games coming out in August.
Yeah,
right.
There's some holes in the dam, and that water's coming through, man. Just about to burst.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm excited.
We're almost done here with July and the summer season, where it's dry as hell, and we're coming up to the point where we're getting close to some of these games, man. It's gonna be insane. We're getting close to getting the X too, and it's gonna be a freaking fun ass ride this year. I'm telling you.
For sure.
Yeah. Side note too, a lot of these games that are coming out now, if y'all are interested in any of these games, like they're having like a sale because most of them are PlayStation exclusive. So
yeah,
they have a digital sale, like a pre-order sale right now, where they're giving you a small discount on some of these games. I know they're giving a discount on Absolver. I don't think Hellblade.
I have to check. Do you know about Lawbreakers? I might have to check that out.
No, Lawbreakers is still $29. I didn't see a discount on that one. So,
that one's probably not going to go down just because it's
that's a good price. Anyway,
it's kind of that half price for multiplayer model. But unfortunately, I won't be here to pick it up right away and play it. But I'm excited to get my hands on that game for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. Oh, yeah.
He's gonna buy it too.
I'm telling you, or you at least
if you guys pretty much say, hey, bro, we're gonna be playing some Lawbreakers, I probably will pick it up because I don't want to be left out.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it now. Hey, bro, we're gonna be playing some new Lawbreakers. So that means All right, next up, Titanfall 2 co-op mode. It's kind of crazy too, because when I was reading this article, I was thinking like, damn, there's a lot of people that's taking the Gears of War format and just putting it in their games with these horde modes, because that's basically what this is. They're giving you some maps, and then I think there's 2 extra maps that's coming, but this is basically a horde mode. You protect this certain, I think, robotic
thing and get money and buying upgrades and crap.
You set up like fences or some type of defense, things out. I mean, it's the same game. It's just that's just crazy. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, I was, thinking the exact same thing as you, and I'm not really interested in it. I might check it out just because it's free if I ever hop on Titanfall 2. But I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of horde modes either. Like Gears, I've played some of that. It was fun, but not that great. Not something to like pull me in and play it again. The only like horde type game I've ever really enjoyed is like zombies in Call of Duty, but that's like different than like a Gears horde mode, I think, so.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I don't care. I really love the story campaign of Titanfall 2, and I was hoping they were gonna do something like this, where you can have your friend come in or your friends, like a couple friends come in and you guys are just running through that campaign together. But it's basically a horde mode, like you said. I'm not interested in horde mode. I never really played in Gears. Gears, I would have to say is probably the best horde mode though. In terms of, they just know how to really make that, horde mode pop. and they're the best at it. So I can't really see this kind of taking off. I can't really see people gravitating towards this, especially since there's so many games that are. I mean, yeah, it's going to be free. Yes, I know it's free update, but it there's so many games that are coming out soon that people I don't think are going to really gravitate towards it at all.
And the other thing is, they said that this is I never played it, but mode from Titanfall 1 with some updates and stuff to it, which it's like maybe they don't have the money from sales for this game because it didn't sell that great. But give me something new. I mean, they pretty much just brought back all the old maps, and now they're bringing this old mode in, and it's yeah, it's nice to have that stuff because the old maps were better than the maps that you gave us. But and maybe they don't have the money to do it, but put some time into creating some new dynamic good maps that that your fans want. Lots of wall running, being able to go from one side to the other side of the map without touching the ground and different stuff like that.
That, or give us a story, like a story DLC like Uncharted is doing, something like that. I know Uncharted is a little bit more separate from the Uncharted 4, but if they did something like that for Titanfall, I pretty much probably would play it because I absolutely loved the campaign, and I still can't get that campaign out of my head to this day.
Yeah, it was a really good campaign. They should add some story DLC to that.
Yeah.
But I digress. Let's move on. Next up, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds versus this big streamer named, I guess his name was Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, he wind up team killing, I guess, the guy that wasn't in his party. The way they set it up is they had 3 players and they got a rando, and then they were trying to get in the car and leave. The car only had 3 seats. The rando hops in the seat but hops out, noticing that they were going to leave one. And then the guy Disrespect, or whatever his name is, kills the other guy to get him off of their team. And the player unknown
can take the vehicle, yeah.
Right. PlayerUnknown Battleground, I guess Dale was there, and so he banned him for that action. And then the Disrespect guy threatened to kick him in the chest. So,
yeah, threatened to kick him in the chest. Let me tell you, this dude is like Dr. Disrespect is hilarious. Like the dude is absolutely funny. I know he's doing it mostly for comedy.
I've never heard of him.
He mostly does this stuff for comedy. I don't know if he's actually serious. I mean, if he is, then it's fucking hilarious that if he's serious.
Supposedly he jokes about his bad martial arts skills all the time.
Right.
All the time.
So he's a comedian, people, of course, he killed his teammate, but at the same time, it was a random person. He didn't have a mic. He wasn't with them, really. So he said, hey, I'd rather have my friend here than you, so I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to die anyways.
I guess it's in the game rules that you can't team kill, which is kind of stupid. I mean, if you don't want team killing, take the fucking team kill mechanic out of the game. I feel like this is a little overboard to ban this guy from the game. I mean, like maybe put him on a little probation, but come on, let him play the fucking game. Maybe it's something to generate more popularity for Battlegrounds because there's publicity, or he wants to make sure people aren't team killing. That's something the article alluded to as well. But I mean, overall, it's just like, come on. Like, sure, I'd be pissed if I was that guy that he team killed, but take it with a fucking grain of salt. It's a game.
Yeah, you get over it,
and let's get over it and move on.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that Dr. Disrespect is probably one of the most highest growing Twitch streamers of this generation, because he's grown so quick in the past year, just because of how funny he is and how much crazy shit he does on his little live streams.
Mhm.
And he kind of made PUBG what it is, and there's other people out there. There's other people out there who kind of made it what it is too, but he's kind of part of that group of people who have kind of made it what it is, and it's the same thing with H1Z1. He kind of made it, popular. A lot of this, and he gets a lot of people. A lot of people subscribe to him. A lot of people love this guy, and I don't think he did a bad thing. I think he was just doing something that I would have done. I would have been like, "Fuck this guy. He's not my friend." Boom.
Yeah,
done,
we need to get the fuck out of here, and we're
it's
dead.
Just
man.
the game. It's just the game. It's not.
Exactly.
It's no. There's no. It's not personal. It's
Right.
It's a game, dude. I'm gonna hang out with my friends, and you're the one that's straggling along. Boom, popped in the head. See ya.
Mhm.
Seemed like he was just trying to send a message by, saying nobody is above whatever rules they have in place.
Yeah, I understand that, but like Remix said, take it out of the game. Then take that mechanic out of the game if you don't want people killing teammates. I don't know why you have it in there. If you
should have made it look like an accident. You can accidentally team kill somebody, but you can't do it on purpose. I mean,
right? Exactly. I mean, what if somebody accidentally kills you? Are they gonna get banned too?
Yeah.
They didn't mean it. You got in front of them. You got in front of them because you're a dumbass and you thought you could get the kill before they did, which I've done plenty of times, and I've gotten killed plenty of times in Call of Duty and stuff like that. Playing hardcore, and I think.
Like you run to like I play Siege, and you run to fucking assholes on that game all the time that team kill you, or sometimes you want to team kill them back or whatever the case. After you team kill a certain amount of people, you get kicked from the game, and have a little 20-minute timeout from playing the game or whatever. Implement something like that if you really care.
Exactly.
Don't ban them from the game altogether. That's kind of my perception.
I think his ban is going to end. The other part of this was he actually took that as a credible threat to kick it in the chest, and then he went into some long story about how he got.
I'm gonna take legal action for your threat.
That's
stupid. Come on.
Here's the thing.
Kind of got it too, though.
You got to understand, if somebody's gonna say I'm gonna kick you in your chest. They're probably joking. Come on. That's the most ridiculous thing somebody could say.
But
somebody's really gonna threaten somebody. They're gonna freaking tell them, they're gonna say some bad shit to him or whatever. Yeah. He didn't say anything bad. It was for comedy. It was funny, I
mean, that's the dude's personality. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is, I suppose.
All right, let's move on. Ghost Recon is the top-selling game of the year. Ubisoft had their report, I guess, not too long ago, and Ghost Recon is still the top-selling game, and Ubisoft has been doing quite well. In fact, part of the report showed that 80% of their sales came from digital.
Which makes sense.
Quarter. So, what do you guys think about it?
Well, at first I was kind of surprised, but I mean, I think this is going to change soon. They're not going to be the best-selling game of the year. So many games haven't come out yet, and when we take a look at the big games that have come out, it's Injustice 2, which is a niche game. Horizon Zero Dawn.
How dare you say that?
Horizon Zero Dawn, which is only on the PlayStation, so its audience is limited, and. The only one that I feel could have beaten it is Resident Evil 7. But, I mean, even horror games, you could say, are maybe a niche title. Not everybody likes horror. While the majority of people like shooters. Although, to me, Ghost Recon, I only played a little bit of it. But, I don't know. It can be fun, but overall, it doesn't have anything that makes it stand out. And so... I don't know. That's why I thought it was kind of surprising, because I don't think it's an amazing game.
Well, I think the biggest thing here is the fact that it's a co-op game.
Yeah.
And right now we don't have, right now we don't have anything that's come out in the past a couple months that has been really co-op, and I think a lot of people gravitated towards it because the summer was coming and they wanted something to play with their friends and being able to kind of hold them off until the new stuff comes out, like Call of Duty, things like that.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely a good point.
I think another thing about this to me is that Ubisoft is doing pretty well. Like, a lot of people like to crap on Ubisoft, but Ubisoft is doing pretty good. A lot of their games come out and they do really well.
Yeah,
I mean, they have a pretty decent diversification within the lineup too. And I think that's another thing that helps them.
And the reason is because they market their games very well too. They really do. I mean, how many commercials did we see of Ghost Recon before that game even came out? We probably, I think I saw a Ghost Recon commercial the other day. I'm all like, okay, they just know how to market and they know how to push their games out there, and that's why Ubisoft will continue to make so much money off of their.
Right.
I mean, like. I can't even remember the name of the game anymore. What's their 4v4 sword game?
For Honor.
For Honor. Like that game flopped, but besides that, like, you got Ghost Recon doing really well. You got Siege that at the beginning of the year had its biggest bump in user base it's had over its lifetime. And you got Far Cry and Assassin's Creed coming up, which I think a lot of people are excited for. And you got that Rabbids and Mario game, which is going to be huge fucking on Nintendo's Switch platform. That's going to be a big game for the Switch, for sure. So
I think
they're doing well.
They're going to buy a Switch because of that game.
For sure. And, Game Down Sights, he played it at E3, and he said he fucking loved it. So, yeah.
Ooh.
I'm excited. I'm probably will pick that up if whenever I get the opportunity to pick up a Switch,
And I wouldn't be surprised if they found some type of way to reinvigorate For Honor, since it has kind of flopped over, because didn't Siege in the beginning flop over, and then they came back and they breathed new life into it. And
they started bringing in new operators and stuff like that, and they started bringing in new maps and things like that for free. And some of it was for free. Some of it,
technically everything in the game is free, but if you want it quicker, you got to pay for it. That's kind of how they do things. Which, some things are so far out of reach that's like, I might as well just pay for it. You might. Unless you really want to grind out the game. But honestly, I think the gameplay itself in Siege is just really good. And, it's a different type of shooter. It's slower paced for sure, which I know you don't like, Animus. But, it's just a different kind of shooter. And I think that's why it kind of lifted up as well later on.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would not surprise me at all if they found some type of way to, breathe new life into For Honor. Because I would just be thinking, like I said, a lot of people sleep on Ubisoft, but they do a pretty good job. A lot of their games get bought up. So
yeah, look at the Division last year. That game was so was supposed to be the Destiny killer, but
that game flopped.
It sold a lot though. That's the thing.
It sold a lot, but then
it was the best seller of that year. It was the top seller that year
because it came out at around a time where there was no co-op games. People wanted to play.
I guess it didn't flop in the sense of sales, but it flopped in the sense of after a little bit of time, everybody ranted on that game and hated it. Which, you could give or take. It kind of killed a sequel to the game, probably. But you never know. Ubisoft does sometimes make a sequel to their bad games.
Yeah, they sold. Even though the game might not have had longevity, they sold enough to warrant the sequel. I wouldn't doubt if you get a sequel and then they change up the mistakes that they made with the previous one to make that one better. They sold enough to have a sequel.
Definitely.
Just give me more story in the Division.
Definitely,
this time
the story was really good, and then after that, it got grindy. And the other thing, I I think is the Dark Zone's a little too reliant on having a 3 or 4 person squad, because that's the real thing that happened for me. It's like I couldn't always get a group of guys together, or there'd be like 6 of us, and so 2 of us would have to kind of go in, and 4 of us would go in, or whatever, and then people stop playing the game after a while, and then it's just one person. So
right, the story seemed kind of disjointed to me. Actually, it wasn't a cohesive story. Like, I really didn't even notice the story until towards the end.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I want a story this time around if they do a Division 2.
Yeah.
That was my most played game of last year, because I actually did have people who wanted to play it like every day. I had a group of guys that were like really into it and played it all the time, and we went through the Dark Zone. I mean, we got pretty high up in the ranks, but after a while it was just kind of like this is boring.
What else is there to do?
I think that's the other thing with it being placed in New York City. You only have people like diversity and what they're killing and who they're killing, and when you're only killing people, like, that could get a little boring. Like, I mean, in a game like Destiny, you could have a variety of aliens or whatever,
especially when those people are bullet sponges.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's another thing, but I wouldn't mind seeing another division. I'd be interested.
All right, well, let's move on. I ran across this article, and it was talking about how, I guess, it was talking about the push to make gaming addiction kind of like a disease or disorder. And the reason I put the article in there is because I've been hearing a lot lately about, like, we had that guy with the article. I forget where it's from or whatever, but he was talking about how gaming is an addiction and it's taking our young men basically. So
are we going to war? I mean,
yeah, like it's
some of us are. Some of us are when it comes
yada,
to
yada, yada. And so this one, it was interesting because it was talking about how the I guess what the psychiatrists as a whole are trying to, what it was basically pointing to is they're trying to get this to be categorized as some type of disease or disorder.
Yeah,
so that they can make more money in it. So they can make money on it at the end of the day. Right.
I believe I can't remember the name of the book, but I think it's called the DMS. It's the book where you categorize disorders and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and my thing, I was like, that I was kind of agreeing with the doctor that was in the article, because he was like, what they're doing to categorize gaming addiction as a disorder. If they use some of the same stipulations, then half of us or all of us that are here right now in the chat would have a disorder according to how they're looking at it.
Well,
and it's kind of bad because this is getting pushed from higher political levels, and I think, and this is my opinion, I think they're being lobbied to do this so that they can make a disorder, so that they can make money off of people being sent to camps to get over these disorders.
You could also have taxes, like a sin tax on video games then, or something like that too.
Right.
Well, it's not like we play video games every single day, all day. Like, we play it as a hobby. We have other things that we do in our lives. I'm not sitting there playing a game all day, every day. It's something when I come home from work, I play. On the weekends, a lot of times I don't play until nighttime. So it's like,
I mean, some weeks I don't even play any games.
Exactly.
I mean, like, I got a few things I want to say. So, like, first, I couldn't really tell if this guy in the article was like, he was against how they're going about it. I don't know if he wanted to categorize it as an addiction or not, but he said, like, the way they're doing it is
wrong.
Bad science, basically. They're trying to label, like, take something like substance abuse and apply the same rules to gaming and call it gaming addiction, while gaming is a whole separate thing. And he also made the comparison, like somebody, if there's a person that loves going to the library and leaving a book or reading books, and they're like at the climax of a really good book, you can't like, and you tell them like to put it down or something, they're not going to want to put that book down. We don't classify that as addiction. You know,
right? Exactly.
It's just a person that likes books. And why don't we classify it as addiction? It's because it's reading and you're getting knowledge and so on and so forth. But you know, gaming is an art form to us gamers, you know.
And see, that leads me to another question I want to pose to you guys. Do you think this is all coming back because of, you know, how big gaming has gotten? Because it's really the largest entertainment medium that there is right now. And so I think that because it's so big, it's bringing this type of criticism back. Because, you know, this back in the day, that there was this type of criticism, not to this point, but it was proven wrong. You know, they would always say that, you know, they play video games and they get violent. But then that was proven wrong, you know. So do you think that because gaming has gotten so big that it's going to start bringing these leeches to try to leech on it in other ways like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. Everybody wants a piece of some kind of action, whatever side they're on. So that's like the first thing I thought about it. And the other thing is, like, you know, everybody classifies a gamer as something, right? Usually obese dude living in his parents' basement, you know, but that's not what gamers are. You know, over half of gamers are female. Over half of gamers are over the age of like 35. And the other half are below the age of 35, and the other half are men. And, you know, you go to, like, you know, I was recently at E3, so you go there, and no, it's not a bunch of fucking fat asses walking around. It's, you know, a diverse group of people of all different creeds, origins, ethnicities, and size. And it's no different than if you were to walk out on a street in a real busy or a large city in the U.S., you know. You would see the same diversity there. And I don't think people get that, at least non-gamers, you know, or maybe these people trying to make money off calling it an addiction.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Video games help a lot of people with their disorders, you know, with their, you know, brain disorders and things like that. I mean, I have family members who play games because of the fact that they have a brain disorder, and it helps them. Would you classify them as addicted to video games? You know, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, where are we going to draw the line on, you know, who really is in this category or not? Because for me, I don't think I'm addicted to video games. I think I'm the complete opposite. I think I can actually take months off of playing a video game and watch movies or go read or whatever. You know, I'm much like that a lot of times, you know. But right now, of course, you know, I want to play games. You know, I want to play a lot of games, and sometimes, you know, I'll go months without playing a game. You know, and am I an addict? You know, I mean, I think if you classify an addict, that's somebody who constantly plays video games, who is only playing video games, and that's it. They don't care about anything else. They don't do anything else. That's all they do. Yeah. Then, yeah, of course, then that's somebody who's an addict. But somebody who works at a daily job, who comes home, you know, kicks back, plays a game at night, and then, you know, hangs out with their family and stuff like that. Like you, Remix, you were hanging out with your family playing games. Are you an addict because you were hanging out with your family? Like that's,
dude, I just can't get enough.
It's so crazy. Like
it's so ridiculous.
It's so stupid when people try to come in and try to control things like this, because it's not right, man. Come on. Like, this is so stupid. Why would you do that? You know, and the government's probably going to come after me now because I said that. But here's the thing. Like, think about it. You know, I'm all for you making money. I mean, you can make money off of it all you want. Just don't classify too many people as being addicts. You know, you're gonna have to
gamers
find the
are
line.
responsive and loud, so
Exactly.
maybe that'll be taken as violent, though. Who knows? You know, maybe we have anger issues because we play games. But like the other thing is like with the whole addict thing, it's like for the most part, games are also only at home. I mean, sure, you have your phone app games and there are mobile devices, but people have daily activities they're doing, whether it's gamers do go outside, they do work out, or they have jobs, or whatever the case may be. And when something is purely in the home space, I think it's also hard to classify it as an addiction. It's not a drug that you can carry with you and, you know, snort up anywhere you go. You know, that's what I mean. They're classifying it as an addiction. You know, we can relate this to drugs, but
fucking Gabe, dude, Gabe. He's like, oh, dude. Look, this isn't a podcast today, Remix. This is an intervention for you. Oh, that's funny. I love it.
That's funny. But yeah, but he also mentioned, you know, there's studies proving it helps with eye coordination just eye coordination. And way back when I was on the Console Corner podcast, we were talking about something about like consoles on wheels for like hospitals. I can't remember the exact name of the organization, but you know, and it's like, you know, a kid, let's say that has cancer, can connect with their parent. You know, it's hard to talk about the cancer, but with the video game there in the hospital room, you know, you can play a game with your dad or your mom or your siblings and you know, have a way to connect that's not difficult, you know, just that gives you a laugh, you know. And that's the other thing, like gaming can bring people together. I mean, it brought us together. All of us, you know, on a random day, hopped into Console Corner's game time. Most of us our first time, and we met each other, and now we're on a fucking podcast together and, you know, doing something that we enjoy.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Exactly, man. And that's the thing, like, you know, who helped these people get their, you know, these kids the
fucking PhDs.
You know, no, who helped these kids, you know, get their, you know, games in their hospital beds? We did. We were the ones who did it because we care about, you know, other people who, you know, want, you know, I know for a fact I donated some money to that cause to, you know, have, you know, kids in hospitals who don't have very much, who are, you know, who are worried about medical bills, who are worrying about, you know, their cancer, who are worrying about other things in their life. You know, when I'm sitting over here having a good old time, you know, playing a game, having fun with friends, you know, I help them out because I feel like, you know, if I can share my experience of video games with these people, then I can actually, you know, they can actually relate to me, you know, and really get into why video games help me as well, you know, because, you know, as a kid, I wasn't really like a very talkative person. I know that's hard to fucking believe. But, you know, when I was a kid, I wasn't very talkative. I you know, I was kind of a shy kid, you know. I didn't really get along with a lot of people, you know. I mean, I still don't get along with a lot of people. But, you know, I didn't have very many friends growing up. And video games kind of, you know, did that for me and helped me. And, you know, it wasn't just video games, but it was also movies as well. And, you know, I think the entertainment industry itself is what has really helped, you know, a lot of these people. And to just kind of classify people as a, you know, as them being addicted to something is just wrong, man. I can't believe that.
It didn't seem like they're looking at any of these positive aspects, you know. And so that's why I go back to what I said previously. I think this is just a leech grab. You know, they're trying to make another avenue for psychiatrists to be able to charge you for something, basically.
Right.
And I mean, the article spoke about how this was coming down, you know, politically. Like, you know, these were higher ups that were trying to get this pushed as an actual addiction. which leads me to believe that then there's some lobbyists pushing those people to get this pushed so that they could have more money poured into their said industry, you know.
Well, it's
So
the drug companies, you know. These drug companies want to make more money off of something because they're not making enough money off of, you know, people taking Vicodin and getting addicted to it. They want to push out another pill out there for people to get addicted to and end up dying eventually. You know,
Right.
that's all it is. That's, you know, that's really the only thing.
Yeah.
You know,
So fuck off our shit.
It's just money. You know, it's just about money, man. That's what at the end of the day it is. We're cattle to them. You know, we're just fodder. You know, and they don't care.
They need to stay out of our hobby.
Exactly. Stay away. Get away.
All right, people.
This is our time.
That's our show. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I'm back.
Indeed.
We're glad to have you back. Damn it.
Yeah, and they keeps the wheel spinning, man.
I try. Do my best.
Keep us going every day.
Any other parting thoughts from you guys before we do our outros?
Nah, man.
No, man.
All right. Well, let's hit it off. I'll let you go first, Adamus.
You can find me on Twitter at Dark Adamus. You can also find me on Xbox Live at the same name. And man, was it a fun show tonight. Thanks for everybody coming to the chat, hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We love every single one of you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I am out, people.
Cool. Remix.
Hey, Remix Essence. Hit me up on PlayStation and Xbox, and you know, let's play some motherfucking games. Because that's what we do here. And Twitter as well, Remix Essence. You know, I haven't really been streaming much, but I will be streaming some. I'm going to be gone here in a couple weeks for a while, though. So I'll probably start up like an actual schedule after that, and like in the fall and stuff, especially once we get some decent games out there to stream, some big ones like Destiny and stuff. So that should be good, guys. Other than that, have a great rest of your nights, and I'm out.
Cool. All right, and I am mbangs99. That's mbangs99, PlayStation and Xbox. I've been your host tonight. I'm glad to be back. And as for that, we out, people. We appreciate everybody coming through. We appreciate the love y'all showing, and we gone.
Indeed.
Peace.
Good night, everyone.